Hi everybody, I'm Morgan Crosbie from Finch Chevrolet in London, Ontario, Canada, and you're watching Cars and Crosbie. Corvette episode, 22 model years in Canada. Here we go. The first of the 5 that I have being built right now is here. And it's a nice, just easy-going build. It's an Arctic White 22. I'm excited to see the window sticker because there has been some changes in the fuel economy ratings. Now that we've had, the Corvette for some years, they actually had to change the fuel ratings because the majority of the Corvettes that are being built are actually with the Z51 and the MPP exhaust, and that changes your fuel ratings, especially in the city. Now, they've also changed the fuel economy because of the differences or the upgrades that they've done to the active fuel management system. So I'm excited to see the comparison on that. Adair is here. He's going to be taking off our one Corvette. We'll see if he has anything to say, and then we'll just go over some Corvette news that's going on in the Corvette world. Hope you guys enjoy this all Corvette episode coming your way. Adair's been a busy guy. He's obviously saved the best for last. I was just asking him about the border, and he says that there's no holdups at the border, but I haven't seen him in a while, and he was just telling me that he's been doing a lot of West Coast deliveries. So you guys out on the West Coast, you're still getting them shipped by truck, which is going to take off a significant time on the delivery. We used to be railing them out. They have a big hub in Kansas City, and they kind of go from there, and then there's also a major hub in Chicago, depending on if they're going east or west. And if you got a Canadian Corvette, we're using the hub in Ingersoll, Ontario, to decide where it's going to go from east to west. So Adair's been doing that. I haven't seen him in a long time. I'm going to catch up with him, but he's a busy guy, so I hope that he can give us some cool insights on what else is going on in the Corvette world. You notice any differences on the new model year?
I haven't seen it.
No? This is a 22 Adair.
I know.
Oh, come on, buddy. Now, you've seen enough of these C8s. What is your favorite color? If you had to choose. I'm putting you on the spot, man.
If I had to choose,
Let's just say you got a Corvette coming in off the truck. You close your eyes and you're dreaming about Adair's Corvette. Which one is it?
gotta be that dark blue.
Yeah, Elkhart Lake. You like the metallic, eh?
Yeah.
What do you do? A white interior in that?
Oh no, never white interior.
No? So this is Arctic White. Arctic White's not bad, but it just I just don't think it's got enough character for me.
Well, I like that all black.
Yeah?
I like that.
We had an all black one here. I don't know where it went. The only problem with black is it's so hard to keep clean.
Yeah. See all the dirt.
Yeah. You like these cocoons on the new models? No differences with that? No issues? They've been good?
Yeah, it'd be good.
All right, guys, our first 22 model year. Adair's going to take it off the truck. We got ourselves a 1LT in Arctic White. He's making it look easy. Adair, how many do you think you've done off the truck? 10,000 now?
Probably.
Yeah? Well, you make it look easy, man. Wherever you like. Okay, so first look at the window sticker on here. Keep in mind, guys, we have liters per 100 kilometers on our Corvettes and stuff. It's not miles per gallon, none of that Imperial stuff. And they've told us that they've changed the ratings on it because now the majority of all Corvettes that are being sold have the Z51 or the MPP exhaust. And if I look here, we can see 12.6 liters per 100 is the combine. And then we have a 15.1 liters per 100 for the city. And then we have a 9.6 liters per 100 on the highway. Now that's a 22 miles per gallon. They did give us a little conversion there. Now that's different. Also keep in mind, if you're using active fuel management on these, you are going to notice that you can get quite a lot better fuel economy than the 9 that's posted on there. On my C7, the best fuel economy rating that I ever got, because there's a little game in there. There's a fuel economy game that shows you your best scores. I got 7.1 on a trip to Chicago once, and that was me driving like a grandma. And I also had a manual transmission, so that might have something to do with it. I also, just so you guys are aware, if you have a manual transmission C7, 7th gear on it is, in my opinion, a little too tall, and I actually got better fuel economy in 6th gear. When you're doing about a $120, $140 you know, earmuffs. This was in Mexico. What would that be in miles? 85 miles per hour, 90 miles per hour. You want to be in 6th gear for the lower part of that, and then if you're going to go into 7th, 90 miles per hour is where she wants to be. If you have a manual transmission C7 for maximum fuel economy, that's what I found out. And that's with 35,000 kilometers of experience on mine before I got rid of her. So Danny, if you're listening to this, say hi to my old Corvette. I miss her. For the new Corvettes though, you have active fuel management. I have done some experimentation with fuel economy. I guess this is turning into a fuel economy episode. For science reasons, and because one of my best friends was egging me on, I went from London, Ontario to try to see how far I could make it to Ottawa on 1 tank of gas. And it was about an 8-hour drive. I made it 6 kilometers outside of downtown Ottawa before I ran out of gas. I actually ran out of gas in my C8 Corvette because he was egging me on the 416 highway just to see how far we could go. If you ever seen that Seinfeld episode with Kramer, Feeling Alive, that was me. And for science, I found out, I'll find the exact amount of kilometers, but I did about 750 kilometers in around there. I was 6 kilometers away from our destination when I ran out of gas. Now, if you do run out of gas on your C8 Corvette, there's a couple things that I want to note. First things first, once the car dies, you can't put it in neutral. So you really, really, really want to make sure that when you're pulling over to the side of the road that you leave it in neutral, because once that dual clutch transmission is completely off and the Corvette is dead when you're rolling to a stop, you can't put it in gear. So you need to make sure that wherever you stop eventually, it's in a safe place, which I kind of wasn't in a safe place when it happened to me, and I was freaking out a bit because there's nothing you can do. You can't pop it into neutral. At least I haven't found a way to be able to do it, and push it to a safer place. So public service announcement, don't be like me, but if you do end up having to have your Corvette run out of gas, make sure you're in a very safe place when you roll to a stop, because once the vehicle gets into park, there's no way of getting it out of it, or at least I haven't found it. If someone can find it in the comment section and tell me, I will send them a gift, because this car salesman guy, car expert Corvette guy, couldn't even figure it out using the owner's manual. So food for thought on that topic. Now we're gonna unwrap this. We're gonna see what VIN number we got off of here. We have VIN number, wow, 665. So one of the first ones off the truck. Adair, you're helping us out unwrap it. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Now, you guys are already aware that the issues that we've seen with these Corvettes are next to nothing. There's not a lot of transit damage that we've seen at all on these Corvettes. There was at the very beginning some issues with the back area here, flapping around too much, and they put that nice little foam thing in the back there to make it so that it doesn't flap around as much, and we haven't had any issues with that ever since. In terms of the paint quality, I've had no issues that I can report on, and I gotta knock on wood here because I don't want to jinx myself, but we've had really no issues with paint and fit and finish on these, whereas with the Escalades in particular, we're getting a lot of nicks and stuff in these areas and in these areas in the back here. So just food for thought on the fuel economy, and then also if your Corvette's being transported, Adair has been doing West Coast trips. Adair, how long does it take you to go from Bowling Green to the West Coast?
About 4 days.
4 days? And so are you doing a set amount every day? Like, what do they allow you to drive in America on a
10 hours a day.
10 hours a day?
I'm sorry, 11 hours.
11 hours. So Adair, if he's leaving from Bowling Green to come visit you on the West Coast with your Corvette, it takes 4 days to do that. And that might seem like a long time, but I guarantee you'll be happy about that, because it took weeks before when we were transporting them on the rails. So thanks for Adair for doing that. I always appreciate when he can come up here and do a delivery with us. And look, he's even helping us out unwrap it. I should be doing that. You know what? I am going to do that. I'm going to meet you guys up after I finish unwrapping this Corvette. We'll go through a walk around on the model. All right, we got another perfect Corvette coming in off the truck. Adair, thank you for what you do, man. I really appreciate that. Kudos to everything, and drive safe on the road.
Thank you.
All right, it's a new day. A lot drier today. It was raining for honestly 36 hours straight. Streets were flooding here in Canada. I think the Motor Bella got flooded out too. I was supposed to go to that, but with them not opening up the border and it also becoming a swamp, I thought, you know what, it's a lot of resources, time and energy just to go get wet and have a soggy Corvette to take home. So I decided against it, and I'm really glad I did when I saw some footage of 15 inches of water in certain areas. And I know I've done snow, and I've done 2 feet of snow, but I don't think 2 feet of water in a Corvette would be a really good YouTube episode for me and the warranty team here at Finch Chevrolet. Phil might have a lot of work ahead of him if I ever decided to do that. For science and research, I know I did the fuel economy, and we're going to touch a little bit more on that because I was kind of going on a little bit of a rant, and I got some facts after sitting down and thinking about the whole trip to kind of verify and complete that. I'm not going to go in 2 feet of water with my Corvette. Maybe one day. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Anyways, let's get back to what we were talking about yesterday with the fuel economy. Now, I looked more into it because it was a little rough in my memory. It was my bachelor trip. I didn't even know it was my bachelor trip until I got there. It was a surprise in Ottawa. Now, it was about 370 miles, the trip. And let's just say I was doing some spirited driving in the back roads and didn't take the right way. But on the way home, I'm not one to back down from a challenge. And when I failed that challenge, I took it very seriously. And on the way home, on the regular interstate roads in Ontario, it was about 530 kilometers, so about 350 miles direct on the freeways, and I had 115 kilometers in fuel range to spare when I did it the proper way on the way home. So on the way there, we were taking side roads. We went out to a little town to have lunch. Didn't make it. Found out what happens when you run out of gas. Wasn't gonna let that happen again. Not gonna have my buddy have to come out with a jerry can to fill it up. So I took it seriously on the way home. May have also been a little hungover because it was my bachelor trip, so there was no need for spirited driving, and made it with room to spare, about 150 kilometers still left on it. So I would assume that I still had about 10 to 15 liters of fuel still in my fuel tank, with it being a 65 liter tank in these Corvettes. That means that I made it about 500 kilometers on 500 liters of fuel, which, you know, at the end of the day, I guess that's only 10 liters per 100 kilometers, but the rating that's on, I'm doing this math live, guys, sorry guys, let's just see if that even makes any sense. Maybe that wasn't even that good. Oh no, 9.6 is the highway rating, so that's bang on. 10 liters per 100 kilometers is what you can expect in your C8 Corvette. Still seems a little high to me because I've seen it get a lot lower on my C8 Corvette. You know what, guys? Can you whoever can show me an email photo of your Corvette with the lowest score, I will not only share it, but I will also send you a little token of my appreciation for helping us do some research in terms of fuel economy. I know that it seems a little foolish to be obsessed with fuel economy. When you buy a Corvette, you shouldn't be focused on those kind of things, but I think it's kind of fun, and I always like to make sure that I'm, you know, being relevant to what most people are able to get. And so I'm kind of curious to find out what you guys are getting for fuel economy on your Corvette. So send in a photo of your average fuel economy, how many kilometers you've driven on that, like your trip. There's trip A and trip B that you can do. I want to kind of see, and don't do like 10 miles at that. I want like at least 100 to 200 miles of driving at a minimum in order to make sure that this is something that you were able to attain. I feel like the lowest score that I've ever got in this Corvette was around 8. That's liters per 100, so like 35 miles per gallon. I believe that would be around 33 miles per gallon. But you know, I think it's all over the map, and that was also going to have to do with all the aero. That, you know, that brings up a lot of good points. So the fuel economy on the C8 Corvette is different on this specific model over the Z51 because of the aero pieces. Now, the Z51 spoiler, for example, it offers 400 pounds of downforce at a speed of about 158 miles per hour. So, you know, when you're driving, I'm not saying you're gonna do buck 58, but when you're driving, that's creating drag, and the drag coefficient is also going to be, it is going to be a major player in your fuel economy. Now, also with me doing the track prep package and then kind of leaving my Corvette in the track prep package because I prefer the alignment that's in that with a more aggressive camber, that's going to affect my fuel economy. The fact that I have 2 extra quarts of fluid in my dual clutch transmission, that's going to bog down the transmission. That's also going to lead to my fuel economy being worse, and then also me leaving all the aero and brake duct pieces. Wow, that was a tongue twister. All the brake duct pieces on my Corvette, that also affected my fuel economy. So, you know, that was my live reaction to doing the math in my head that I was getting about 10 liters per 100 kilometers, which is not good, but at least I was only 0.2 off of what the fuel rating on the window sticker said. But I'm sure that there's someone out there that can beat it, and I'm really happy to see if someone can share with us their best score or what the average is. Maybe we'll come up with an average in a later episode. So without further ado, let's get into the meat and potatoes on this specific build. This is our first 22. Adair had also dropped off a bunch of other ones in the Toronto region, so congratulations if any of you guys picked up your Corvette. Make sure you reach out. I want to see all these builds that we're getting in Canada. We also found out that in Canada we had 1,850 C8 Corvettes for the 2021 model year. America still had over 90% of all the Corvettes, and rightfully so. This is an American-made product, and I think that they deserve to fulfill the allotment in America. Japan was high up on the list. I think they had over 300 units. Mexico was on there as well, and then there was the Middle East. So there was 3 other countries, but with Japan being right-hand drive, that was interesting to see that they had such a large amount, and they were really the only country that had right-hand drive vehicles that was getting quite a few. So interesting to note about that. Now, this is the entry level, the 1LT, and I've done a couple of episodes on what I think of the value on that. I think it's remarkable. One that stands out in particular to me, not to make fun of it in this one in front of its face, but the Atomic Orange 1LT that was at Carlisle with the Sky Cool gray seats in the GT1 format. That to me was just one heck of a value for the amount of money. You know, it was around 75 Canadian and mid 60s, high 60s American for the 1LT and Atomic Orange with the Sky Cool gray interior and the low profile spoiler. I'm gonna make that suggestion to this one, if we could maybe balance it out a little bit. To me, ever since I've seen the low profile spoiler, I really think that it's done a great job at balancing out the vehicle when it's in its non-Z51 format. And the price of it, I forgot to mention it in the last video, it is $795 Canadian, and you do get a front splitter with that as well. So there's a good balance, and it's also aesthetically pleasing when you have something on both sides. It balances it out. You're not just putting something in the back and then leaving the front. Also on a side note, got a new camera, got the new iPhone, so I'm excited to show you guys what this thing is made of. I'm gonna be showing you some new features like cinematic mode, and just been starting to learn a lot more about cinematography in general. So I'm starting to get into this, guys. I hope that this is gonna translate into you guys getting some better content on the channel. I'm excited to learn more about it. I've got a good knowledge base on the Corvette. I'm always looking to learn, but I wanna learn some more stuff. And I'm gonna, put that energy into cinematography and trying to make this thing be a little bit more. I'm not at the point yet where I'm gonna hire an editor or something like that, but any constructive criticism that you can give me is greatly appreciated, especially if you have a film background, because I'm really eager to learn as much as I can about this. So I hope you guys enjoyed this impromptu Corvette episode. I still have tons of footage that I'm getting to, guys, so have no fear. There's gonna be plenty of more Carlisle footage, and I still have footage even from the event that we did here at the dealership. I can note that Mr. Finch was very happy about it. This was a pilot project car show, and we are going to be doing a more formal event as long as everything with COVID and the pandemic does well. We're probably going to do this on a biannual basis, so we're looking to do one in the spring. If you guys have any questions, or if you guys are looking at getting some help with something on your Corvette, always reach out to me. I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Stay tuned for more awesome content. I'm Morgan Crosbie, and happy motoring.